Ryan, I want to transition back into the comments that Steve Bannon had really quick that kind of goes hand in hand with some of these deportation comments. His are specifically geared towards Elon Musk, and then have a couple other bits of information I'd like to share, and then we can start wrapping it up there.
All right.
Right.
So
he
this
promised $2 trillion, then $1 trillion, then $160 billion. And what's even out there, these are all programmatic things that have been in appropriations bills that Republicans and MAGA have been arguing about, like the first $9 billion rescission package. So he hasn't, and we're demanding, like, where's the money? What was DOGE really doing, number one? Number two, we want to make sure DOGE and Elon Musk didn't take any of the data sets for his personal use, for his artificial intelligence, which is driving all of his businesses. So we have to make sure of that. On the national security side, given what he said about the president, it wasn't like making changes to a bill he knew everything about and never made any comment at the time. For your audience, he came in and tried to be destructive, kill the bill, kill President Trump's centerpiece of his legislative agenda and his supply-side tax cut, and kind of repurposing the American economy. Also, we find out from the Wall Street Journal, he actually called CEOs when Liberation Day came and President Trump was in the beginning phase of talking to other countries and talking to CEOs about reciprocity of tariffs. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that he went and actually whipped up CEOs against President Trump's tariffs. Now, President Trump, I think, had enough of it. Elon asked to stay longer. Mark Caputo and Axios reports that. President Trump said, no, your time here is done. President Trump's very uncertain of what DOGE actually accomplished, wanted him out of the White House, was pretty adamant about it. And like an 11-year-old, Elon struck back, and what he said yesterday, he crossed the Rubicon. This is not about a bill. It's not about cutting spending. We're the biggest deficit hawks out there, been on this, working this for over a year. What he did was to try to destroy the bill, kill the bill, right, which would destroy President Trump's supply-side tax cut and a huge tax cut for the working class and middle class here. But then he went further than that. He's the one that made it personal. He talked about the Epstein files. He talked about impeaching President Trump and replacing him with the vice president. Given everything we've gone through, remember, we're 10 days or 9 days away from the 10th anniversary of Trump coming down the golden escalator. What the MAGA movement's been through, what President Trump's supporters been through, what President Trump has been through over the last 10 years, all the ups and downs, the triumphs and the defeats, to sit there and go, after President Trump's been impeached twice by these radical Democrats, to actually say that you want him impeached, and then to talk about and threaten him with your money, that, I'm going to be around for 40 years, you're only around for 3.5 years. It's totally and completely outrageous.
I mean, you've been seeing from this hymn sheet.
It breaks my heart, man, to see this kind of
infighting.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. It's just so sad.
Yeah, again, we should be
speechless on
coming together as a country,
I mean,
and not trying to tear ourselves apart. And
because
again,
if DOGE didn't work, according to Bannon, what he just said, then that means Trump's vision was flawed, right? I mean,
the execution.
Well,
maybe.
but he hired
right
or got
brought in Elon Musk.
the best person he had to have thought was the most qualified person, to do that, and then they wind up less than 3 months or 4 months. Here they are fighting. They're like children that, one is jealous of the popularity of the other, or whatnot, and they wind up fighting in the sandbox. And it's just sad, man, that we're seeing this. I love, one of the reasons I've supported Trump, and we've talked about this, is that he's not a typical politician.
Yep.
Well, just like we've said, there's two sides to everything. This is the other side that the left loves, and that feeds them and fuels their anger toward him, and they use against him every day, and it's the personality part.
Right.
So there has to be a balance. There's a fine line. You got to have a balance. You need the president. Your dad and I talked about this as well. The president needs to have some diplomatic ability and diplomacy as a politician. Trump is probably, like Andrew Jackson, he's one of the presidents in the history of this country that probably is lacking the most in that department.
I wouldn't say he's lacking the most. I say he definitely has some fallacies, but I would say he's better than Barack Obama, although Barack Obama might present a better exterior shell. So Trump, you get a very kind of, you see what you get, sort of like good with the bad, but with Obama, you don't know what you really get because it's all hidden behind, you know, this like nice looking exterior.
I would think that Barack Obama would be much higher on the scale of bureaucrat, politician, able to manipulate people, and slick politician person, much more so than Trump. Trump's here's what you see what you get, lay it on the table. That's at
kind of
least
support or not versus Barack Obama. Again, credit where credit is due. Had a very good, and like of course didn't work on everyone, but had the ability to make bad ideas sound great in a way that could like reach across the aisle to win more people over to his side in a way that like Trump can do that, but in a totally different way. Like, hey, you may not agree with everything I say, but I'm going to say what I think, and and of course he also gets characterized as a liar, which that's like the biggest like, all right, like, okay, where do you draw the line for who's a liar, right? Because like, are my parents liars because they told me that Santa came down the chimney every year, right? Like, where, right? Do you get what I'm?
yeah. Let me.